So you want to go to a motorcycle dealership and you want to try one of their bikes. Great! But where are you going to ride it? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit that notifications bell for all future videos, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com for all the latest biking news. So, you want to go to a motorcycle dealership or to a motorcycle sales place and you want to try one of their bikes. You want to take a demo bike out, or you just want to test ride a bike before you buy, right? We've all done this at one stage or another. Now, I appreciate in different countries there may be restrictions or the availability of demo bikes, test ride bikes, and how long you can take a bike out for. In some cases, you're not allowed to take a bike out at all. Some cases, you may only be able to take it just down the road, a quick spin, as it were, and that's all you have. But let's just say you can take a demo bike or a test ride bike out for an extended period of time, let's say an hour, minimum, 2 hours, 3 hours. Where are you going to ride? What kind of roads are you going to ride on? What's the best advice when you want to take a bike out on a test ride? And where should you ride it and how should you ride it? More's the point. So I'm going to do this in reverse. I'm going to give you the gem first and the finer details later. I'm not going to keep you hanging on to the end of the video just so you can hear that pearl of wisdom. The pearl of wisdom here is that if you want to take a bike out on a test ride, then just go ride it. Just go ride it on the roads that you would normally ride on, and get the best feeling for that bike on those roads. So let's just say most of your motorcycle riding is on a motorway, on a highway, then there's no point on taking it just on back roads. You really need to get a feel for it on the journeys that you're going to do most. So let's say on a motorway or on a highway. Conversely, if you very rarely take it on the big open road, then there's no point in just taking it on a big open road when really you need to be trying it on some back roads, on some twisties, on some narrow roads, whatever the case may be. So picking a bike initially that will suit your kind of riding is key, but also test riding it on roads and routes that kind of suit the journeys that you normally take. So if you can achieve that at this dealership or this sales place that you're at, then great. Try and test the bike on roads or types of roads that you would normally ride. That will give you the best kind of indication whether this bike that you're test riding, that you're demo riding, is going to suit your purpose, is going to be for you. It's no point in test riding this bike on roads that you're never going to ride. However, now let's get into the finer points. Let's just say you are a long distance commuter rider. You go from your house to a place of work and it's maybe 200 miles away. So you want to ride your bike every day, 200 miles in one direction and maybe 200 miles in another direction. I mean, if that's your daily commute, I pity you, but there you go. So if you're riding 200 miles a day in each direction, you're probably going to be using a highway or a motorway to do that kind of journey. So obviously you want a bike that's probably really comfortable, like a tour motorcycle, that is good for weather protection, especially if you're riding in the winter or in clement weather. But you've also got to factor getting from your house to the motorway or to the highway. And you've also got to factor from getting off the motorway, off the highway, to your place of work. What are those roads going to be like in between? So just test riding that bike on one particular road isn't really going to cut it for a realistic assessment of this bike and whether it's going to suit your needs. Just remember, you're going to have to live with this bike for 1, 2, 3 years, and it's going to have to suit the purpose for which it's intended, or you hope it will suit the purpose. So really you're going to have to try it on different types of roads. Now the next point is, okay, traffic density. What is the normal traffic density that you're going to be riding in? Is it going to be morning rush hour traffic, evening rush hour traffic? Are you riding in urban areas mostly, or are you on the open road? Are you going to be encountering bottlenecks? Are you riding in a country or a state where you can filter in between traffic, lane splitting? Can you do that? Can you get to the head of the queue? Are the roads wide enough that you can overtake slow moving traffic or just pass stationary traffic and get to the head of the queue? So traffic density is a major consideration when you're considering what kind of bike is going to be suitable for you. Yes, you might be able to get onto the open road, and a particular bike may be great at that, and it might be great at open road, country road riding, getting onto the twisties and that kind of thing. But when it comes to urban riding and riding in high traffic density, then it's really hard work And you might as well be in a car sometimes, because you really can't use that bike effectively to feel your way through the traffic. So if most of your journeys are in urban areas or at times of high traffic density, let's say the morning rush hour, then really you need to try and test that bike in those conditions as well. So try and test the bike on the roads that you would normally ride. Try and test the bike that will cover all elements of the journey, and try and test the bike on roads that you normally ride and in the traffic conditions that you would normally ride as well. But there are lots of different elements here about which route to take, at what time of day you're going to be riding that route, and of course finding a bike to match as well. Now, trying to find a motorcycle that will tick every box is a little bit asinine. Pardon the pun. Yes, there are great all-round motorcycles out there. Really, every motorcycle is going to have pluses in one box and minuses in the other. You're really going to have to find a motorcycle that's going to fulfill most of what you're looking for. And when you're trying to pick a route, then really you need to try and pick the route that is most suitable for the journey that you're going to do and at the times of day. Now, let's just get on to picking the route. Well, this comes down to research. If you're going to a dealership in the area in which you know, then yeah, sure, you know the roads, you know that local network of roads, so you can easily decide, I'm going to take this route, go on that road, then get onto the motorway, get off at the next junction, go on these set of back roads, and away I go. And you can do a whole loop journey, or you can just go in a straight line in one direction to about 30-40 miles, let's say, and then just come back the way you've come. However, if you're having to travel a couple hundred miles, let's say, to an area which you're unfamiliar with, and you're going to a dealership that you've never been to before just to get that demo ride or that test ride, then really you have to research that area. You have to research the roads in the area. You need to look at a map beforehand. You kind of have to get it in your mind exactly where you're going to go to. You may ask if you can strap your phone or your navigation device to the handlebars of the bike that you're test riding, so you'll have a route planned. It depends if the motorcycle that you're test riding now has the capability for navigation. Let's say you can hook up your phone to the TFT screen, or whether it has inbuilt navigation itself, so that you can choose a route or ride a route that is going to give you a really good test or a really good feeling of whether this bike is going to be suitable for you. Now, one final thing here. Of course, when you go to the dealership, it's a really good idea to ask the salesman directly, hey, can you recommend a route that I can go? That kind of thing. They'll know the local area better than you will, and they'll be able to say, yeah, take this road here, take that first left down there, follow this, and then you'll get onto some back roads. I went on a demo ride recently, and I wasn't that familiar with the area. I kind of knew, but I didn't really know. And the guy said, actually, listen, I'll just put in the sat nav here on the bike. I'll put home, so you just keep on riding. Then all you need to do is tap home, and you just follow us back in. So there was no particular route that I had to ride. I just had to ride aimlessly, if you like, in a particular direction. Then hit home. I would say I was lost in inverted commas, and then all I had to do is follow the sat nav back. So that's a way of doing it as well. But at least you'll have a good idea of the roads that you want to take. Now, in some cases, a motorcycle, you know, as soon as you go half a mile down the road in a straight line, you know how that bike is going to be on a big open road. You kind of get that feeling. Yeah, suspension is good. It's nice and smooth when it rides. You get it up to speed or highway speeds or motorway speeds, and you think, yeah, it's holding it really nicely here. So yeah, you could see for a long period of time it's going to be great. What you really want to test it on is some back roads. So, you know, the time spent on the big major roads as opposed to the smaller roads is going to be key. And that's up to you to decide what ratio you're going to do here. But this is a question I get asked quite often. Which road should I take? Which route should I take? I want to test ride a bike. Where should I take it? The best advice is really to test ride that bike on the kinds of roads that you would normally ride. Then if you really can't, then just try and put more emphasis on similar roads that you would normally ride. It's really about getting a feeling for that bike and getting a feeling for how it's going to fit with you. It may mean that you have to have another test ride and another test ride. It might mean that you go to the dealership again and say, look, I've really enjoyed this test ride on this bike for an hour, but you know what? I'd like to come back with my partner, my wife, and have a test ride with both of us on it. Actually, I'd like to come back and maybe take it out for a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours. Hey, do you know what? Do you offer a test ride for a whole weekend? I really need to see how this works out. It might mean that you have to pay something towards it. It might mean that you might have to kind of rent the bike in many ways, but there might be an opportunity for you to do a longer test ride so you can really fine-tune whether this bike is going to be suitable for you. So picking the right route, picking different types of roads, and at the time of day that you're most likely to be riding, that's going to give you the greatest advantage in determining whether this bike is going to be suitable for you or not. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. I do get a lot of questions about this kind of thing. Where should I ride my bike? What route should I take? It's very easy for me to just sit here and say, hey, follow that route and follow this route, when really it is about you and your riding experience. So it's about self-determination and also kind of self-analysis as to say, where do I normally ride my bike? Right, that's where I need to test ride this bike, on those kinds of roads. I'm always open and candid with motorcycle sales guys and say, listen, you know, this might be a really big bike in my eyes and in your eyes, but actually the times of day which I'm riding, even on these back roads, there's hardly any traffic. So do you know what? It doesn't matter how big the motorcycle is. Conversely, I've had conversations where I say, do you know what? This bike is not going to be good for this kind of riding because I'm going to encounter a lot of traffic on this day, or for the next year or two I'm going to be doing a lot of city riding. Do you know what? This bike isn't going to be great, but that one over there might be perfect for me. So it really depends immediately for the next 2 or 3 years what kind of journeys you're going to be making, and does this bike suit that journey that you're going to be making. So hopefully you get a test ride on a route that will really help you determine whether that bike is suitable or not. Anyway, hope you found that useful. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com for all the latest biking news. And I'll catch you again on another video coming very soon. There's lots more coming. Cheers now.